Hello everyone, this is Benjamin. I'm going to do a video today on tactics. I had someone asked me to do my own game, so I guess I'll do it with my own game. And also the reason why I'm doing this is because puzzles, people say they don't come up, they're not realistic. And I guess I'll try to show the best way I can how to apply them to your games because they are very realistic. Alright, I'm going to start off with normal developing moves. Nothing really specific or fancy, just to develop and see if I can illustrate, what I can. Obviously, I could have even discussed this because it was a capture and he defended, so that was, I'm going to do Evan's Gambit. I'm going to sacrifice a pawn for tempo, but it's an aggressive line, and I believe it should have a lot of tactics involved. So here we go. Now, this pawn right here is undefended. I can move my queen over to attack it for another time. I can attack the center, and if he captures, I can't capture back because it's the absolute pin against my king, which is a tactic. Absolute pin. So if I move and he takes, I can't capture back with my pawn. So I'm going to go ahead and sack a pawn. The reason I'm sacking a pawn is to open up my bishop to join in my attack. So I wanted to go here already, but now that I'm here with this bishop opening, if he tries to defend the pawn, I get to attack his knight. Okay, so he went that way with it. I can castle. He may try to develop, maybe. There's a lot different going on. I don't like to explain all of it because it's honestly a little difficult for me. So here, bishop to a3 will pin the pawn because of the queen. And the queen is stuck defending this pawn. So I'm trying to pile up. He can't take this because of a skewer. It would, I'm not skewer, but a pin. It would pin the queen to the king. So now, if I were to move my pawn up one and he were to capture, I would get his queen. If I move the pawn up one and he were to capture with the knight, I can call check and he will not be able to defend the bishop and block check at the same time. So this looks fine for me. I'm just looking at tactics, possible ways to attack him. And this is all, it is puzzle related, so it's not like it's not, because it is. Now I can call check and take, but if I do that, he can take my bishop. So let's say I call check, he would have block, and I would have take this way first, because if I take the bishop, he can just take my knight, or even naturally just take my bishop. So I'm going to call check. And that's where tactics are important. This is why puzzles are important. I almost missed that. But if he moves here, then I might be in trouble. Tactics. So he defends that way, which I can't pile up on the knight. And then if he moves up, I can attack. And if he takes, I can attack and take his rook. I'm going to go ahead and start that attack. And if he blocks with his bishop, I can move my rook over to attack his queen. So I'm going to keep finding ways to attack in different ways and try to use my tactics the best that I can at my level. My level is not very high. However, I still can learn, you know. Okay, so now I can attack the queen. See how he defends that. You can maybe even move the knight here. It's very possible. Okay, so I kind of figured. So now, if I move my knight to attack his knight, because of his queen, how would he defend? I mean, he can move his pawn up one, but then I get the queen. He can take this pawn, but then I can just, yeah. So he decided to go this way with it. So I'm trying to make a extremely tactical game, and it's a little bit confusing for me, but this is basically just playing with tactics. So it's just not even caring about anything else but just playing tactics, and I hope it pays off. Hope I know enough. So I'm going to take, and if he takes back, I can move my rook up one. I mean, I want to double my rooks is what I want to do. I know double rooks are really good, really good. So I can also just take here. He can't take because I would just take the queen. So if I go here, yeah, I think I'm gonna threaten more stuff. I'm gonna threaten to take this and do some more damage. So everything's pins, different pins, different discover attacks, different, you know, and I'm constantly thinking along that level. So like, if you want to play a tactical game, this is basically the best way to practice playing tactics with puzzles. Chess principles, developed for center and having positional play and some type of control that's all great. But without tactics, those positions can fall apart pretty easily if you fall to a tactic and lose a piece or two, and then you're just losing position. So it's really important to know how to illustrate these. So he took my knight. Now, of course, if I take this, he's just going to capture here, and then I would call it check and take the bishop. So if I capture with my pawn, he can just take my knight. So, and if I take the knight, he can just capture here. Oh no, if I take the knight, he can capture back this way, and then in the future have this attack. So now, I gotta find out what capture is best for me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captures. Now, I have to go over each one of them. So people talk about candidate moves. Captures are definitely should be something to be considered. Okay, so now if I were to capture the bishop and he would have captured back with the queen, I can come over and take this knight here. I can do that. I also can capture back and take the bishop. He cannot take my knight because of the king. If I capture this way, it looks bad. If I capture this way, it also looks bad. So I'm gonna take with my bishop, and I'm not sure if I want to take his bishop or the knight, but I think taking his knight will be better for me because it's more central, and his bishop can't take this pawn, and I have this knight under attack as well, and I'm also attacking this pawn, and I'm also, okay, I like this better. I don't want to take too much time on it because I only have 11 minutes, but yeah, he's up 2 pawns, but everything's completely open. I mean, he can castle. if you wanted, you know, and then I can just take, and if he takes, I can maybe win a pawn back, and then I'll be down a pawn, which is what it looks like it might happen. Being down a pawn, I can also take, and if I call check, take this pawn here, or even call check and take the bishop. So I'm going to take this knight right here. If he takes back, I get to take the bishop, which is what I'm going to do. So that's a tactic. So this video is all about tactics, and basically this is the point of puzzles. I wouldn't have seen this type of fork if I'm not used to seeing it in puzzles, because I haven't had many games where I had a check on d5 capturing a bishop. It just doesn't happen very often. Practicing puzzles allowed me to see that. Yeah, so that is the point of puzzles, and I hope this illustrates it very well. And if you are interested in learning more puzzles and doing more puzzles because of this, definitely give me a thumbs up and comment something. Let me know that this was something that was valuable to you. I wouldn't look at it as a move by move per se as best moves, because I am not very high rated. However, I would look at it as some type of thinking of like the purpose of puzzles, and when you play your games, how you're going to be thinking in your games. Because without tactics, obviously you can blunder and lose stuff and possibly lose the game. So now, even though I'm up a piece, I can blunder and he can win. So now he has to focus on what tactics are good for him, and I had to find ways to avoid all that. So I defended this piece right here, even though I didn't have to, because it's pinned. So I did an unnecessary defense. However, I also was considering on doubling my rooks, which I can do now. Alright, so he's attacking my bishop, and I don't really have much of a defense to it. I mean, if I move down, I mean, I can, but I mean, I have these two squares. I don't want to move up. Obviously, I'll lose it. This is bad too. And if I move here, he can just attack this way, and then my bishop is trapped. So I have to move backwards, B or C. B is blocked off by my pawn. C gives me this long diagonal. But if I move back to B2 and this pawn up one, I might have some type of counterplay. So I'm going to go bishop B2. So this was a good, I think it's a good illustration. I'm going to leave it here. I think this is a good game illustrating puzzles and the importance of tactics. So I don't want to get too involved in the game. We're getting close to the end game. So I'm going to let it go here. Alright. Give me a thumbs up, comment, and let me know what you think. Alright, thank you.